Right, now one of the more misunderstood concepts as it relates to trying to build muscle is that of taking your sets to failure. Now logically, if you want to recruit and fatigue as many muscle fibers as possible, then obviously you're going to want to take your sets to failure, right? Well, it doesn't always work like that. There can be a lot of different reasons for why you achieve what appears to be failure that have nothing to do with recruiting and fatiguing anything, amongst them being energy depletion. If the muscle's running low on glycogen and phosphagen, you could achieve what appears to be failure, has nothing to do with recruiting and fatiguing anything. Another reason could be acidosis, because lactate and hydrogen ions impair the nervous system's capacity to recruit the muscle. If that happens, you're going to achieve what appears to be failure, has nothing to do with recruiting and fatiguing anything. In fact, the more fast twitch dominant the muscle is, the sooner you're going to achieve that state. Now, taking a set to failure has its own drawbacks as well, because depending on how many muscles are involved, as the muscles begin to fatigue, the body's naturally going to compensate. It's going to redirect the stress elsewhere for you to facilitate doing what you're asking your body to do. If you take that set to failure, the reason you're going to reach failure may have nothing to do with recruiting and fatiguing the desired muscle group. It might have everything to do with the sum of the involved musculature no longer having the capacity to produce enough force to overcome the resistance. So taking a set to failure does not guarantee that you'll have maximally recruited and fatigued anything. Taking a set to failure can be seen as an insurance policy. You're trying to ensure that you're maximally recruiting and fatiguing the desired muscle group, but there's no guarantee that you'll do so. And like any insurance policy, it comes with a cost, the cost of overworking your capacity to recover. Now the good news is you don't need to take your sets to failure to maximally recruit and fatigue anything. As long as the weight you're lifting feels like roughly 85% of what you could lift for one, you're going to achieve maximum activation. Through volume, you can fatigue those muscle fibers. The more neurologically efficient you are, or the more fast twitch dominant you are, the more you can achieve maximal muscle activation with lighter loads. Loads as light as 65% of what you could lift for one. Now, how do you make a weight feel like 85% of what you could lift for one? You either select a load that represents 85% of what you could lift for one, or through volume. Every single rep you do is going to come with a cost. The cost is going to vary depending on the amount of weight you're using and how much fatigue you're creating, but roughly 1 to 4% decrement in momentary strength potential is what you can expect with every single rep that you do. So I'm going to give you an example to help illustrate the point here. Let's say you want to do a set of 10 and you want it to fail on the 10th rep. You're in a non-fatigue state. Most people will be able to do this with roughly 75% of what they could lift for one. Now the first rep is going to feel like 75% of what you can lift for one, but it's going to create some level of fatigue. The next rep might feel like 77% of what you could lift for one. The next like 79, the next like 81, the next like 83, the next like 86, the next like 89, the next like 92, the next like 96, and the last rep is going to feel no different than if it was a max effort, because it is a momentary max effort. Now if we look at that set, the first 3 reps will feel like they're less than 80% of what you could lift for one. The last 3 will feel as if they're above 90% of what you could lift for one. The last 3 are the ones that you risk overworking your capacity to recover, and the first 3 you might not achieve maximal muscle activation. So in this example, reps 4 to 7 are the ones that are going to provide the greatest return on your investment of time and effort. You're going to achieve maximal muscle activation without running the same risk of overworking your capacity to recover. If you were to cut that set short and only do 7 reps, it will facilitate higher volumes of high quality work to be performed. And the more high quality work you perform without overworking your capacity to recover, the greater return on investment you're going to get. You do not need to take your sets to failure to maximally recruit and fatigue as many muscle fibers as possible. In fact, it could be counterproductive. If you like the information, share it, click the fucking button at the bottom of the screen you're looking at, subscribe to the channel, support me, and I'm going to keep on bringing it.